Welcome back to the NALCS Spring Finals third place match. After a controlled 2-game start against Liquid, Immortals are just 1 win away from a 3-game sweep. So this is where I turn to you, gentlemen. When it's do or die time for Team Liquid here, they want to push it to 5 games and get that reverse sweep. How do they do it? Freak, starting with you.
Guy I talked about after game 1, Piglet, I think needs to be World Championship Piglet. You have rookies who are honestly being a little bit shaky in their performances in some cases, and Piglet can turn it on. I know he can. I know he's good enough, but he's got to do better than 4, 8, and 8 in 2 games.
Yeah, I think this combo is off of team priority and champion select as well. Wild Turtles had Callista. I want Piglet to have Callista, and I want Matt to have Janna, and I want them to force standard lanes as much as possible. Swap back and forth, keep Piglet in a 2v2, and play around him.
I definitely agree with both of those, and I think that they really need to refocus after those 2 losses. A lot of the mistakes they made in that game 2 were mental mistakes early on that they can avoid, and they really need to give something stronger. Maybe they need to play around Piglet more. Maybe they need to get him a more aggressive champion. But the bottom lane there is probably what we're looking at, because that's been Team Liquid's biggest strength.
All right, returning to you real quick, Jad, just on your champion select point, given the fact that the teams are swapping back to their original size from game 1, we did see Immortals, and they're probably going to be comfortable throwing out the same 3 bans, Kindred, Poppy, Nidalee, first picking Azir away. So you're saying be willing to jump at first rotation, secure a solid bottom lane for Matt and Piglet.
Absolutely. They had some pretty high value picks in the first game, but they lost that game. I think they can give whatever they want. Funnily enough, Tahuni and Reignover, even as dangerous as that sounds, but if the picks and bans go the same way and Immortals first picks Azir, I want Callista Janna right away.
All right, I like it. Well, let's see if Team Liquid thinks the same thing. It's time to send it over to the casters, but as we go, let's hear Dardoch's thoughts on how he stacks up against Reignover.
I have to say he's the best jungler because, yeah, he's proved it. I haven't proved that I'm the best jungler yet, but I know that I am. But I have to prove it before I can really say it confidently. Whereas I can say that I'm a top 3 jungler confidently. I can say that I'm better than Rush. I'm better than Xmithy or anybody else. Like, I can say that I'm better than those people confidently, just based on results. But when I play against Reignover, generally I just face plant. So I can't really say that I'm better than him confidently yet. If we win against IMT, you can best believe I'm going to be salt tweeting all over the place. Best jungler IMO.
Cleanest jungler, everything. After if they come back and sweep this one. Is that what he's trying to say?
I guess so, but Reignover had an incredible performance on that Graves last game, pulling out something new. 8-0 and 10, 18 KDA are perfect at that point.
So that's got to bury that thought even more for him to just be like, oh, I need to kind of work this out.
That's also got to put a little bit of a mental tax on him because, I mean, when you're up against somebody that you're like, okay, I know I'm better than them, and then they crush you, that puts you a little bit on tilt. That's where you start going like, oh man, this is frustrating. I know I'm better than this. I want to be able to get my edge over him. And in front of all of these people too, so considering that they're rookies.
We'll see how they shake things off coming in to picks and bans.
You gotta wonder how much of this is, he's such a confidence guy, right? But when you really that badly want to prove that you're better than someone, how much of that is actually weighing on your decision making? How much of that is affecting their mental state? You know, is he going in there saying, I have to make this outplay, I have to make this happen? Because a lot of what TL's mistakes have been are these like over aggression. You know, it's constant just trying to make something happen. When you see an opportunity, they go for it whether they should or not, and maybe that's playing into it.
Poppy's going to be banned out this time, coming from the side of Immortals. They know how much it can disrupt that fight, become such a powerhouse, and Azir being the final ban this time from Liquid. What do Immortals start with this time?
It was Rise.
The Echo's left open, but the Rise is there as well.
That was the ban from game 1 that TL subbed the Azir in for. The GP, though, is something that I think you could have left up. I think the GP right now may not be as potent, but that's the thing is TL, when I look at how much they've banned GP, they've banned it every game in this series. They banned it all 5 games against CLG. They banned it in every game against Energy, and they banned it throughout the regular split. That champion tilts Piglet with the global ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it really does have to do, I think, with this is a team that loves to have bot lane focus, right? They love to get Piglet ahead. They love to try to snowball that lane, and GP ulti is something that really helps to counteract that. And we heard them talking about the desk, you know, get Piglet onto Callista, you know, get Matt onto the Janna, take this away.
Absolutely.
Go to your 2v2 strength, but they haven't done it yet. Maybe they will this game.
They just need that protection for Piglet, and he'll be able to carry this game. We see the Urgot hover. Rango Knife Cat as well, but they're just showing that love, showing that old school EU love on the side of Reignover. Waiting for those picks from Immortals' side, however, we did see those Urgots coming in recently. A little showing that love to the
This is
I know.
We're not going to see anything.
No, it's it's more the hover for haha. Here's the hover.
Yeah, but they did get their hands on Callista for Piglet in the bot lane on TL's side, and they took away the jungler that Rainover just crushed on. Now Dardoch is going to try to invade. Look at this, though. It's going to be the pick here, and Wild Turtle on Lucian. This was the question, is why aren't Immortals giving Lucian to Wild Turtle when they threw it up to Huni, and then he played Jhin every game that he could get his hands on it?
Which you flex, man? That's why.
But here's the thing, Lucian is, I guess, a flex for Immortals.
Oh, right.
Could still be Huni's.
And with this lane, you know, with the John Lucian, it'll be interesting to see if Immortals has the confidence to go into that 2v2 themselves, you know, just maybe say bring it on. We can match you guys.
Absolutely.
You know, Turtle has actually been coming up a lot more than Piglet has this series. He's been out farming him a lot. He has been coming up huge in team fights, and he's been a big impactor. So we'll see if they can actually match up.
And it's always a little strange too, and I think Immortals know this, that there's a point in the game for Team Liquid based on how they play the macro game that Piglet is split pushing by himself. And both games they have punished that and gone over and said, all right, we're going to push here and we're actually going to get some kills. And with the Maokai picked up, I think they might actually go either Gragas or they might go Echo here, but it looks like it is going to be the Gragas top again for Huni.
Yeah, a couple quick locked-ins there for the Elise and the Gragas. And yeah, we saw Huni look great on Gragas in game number 1. Fantastic game. Also did come out from Rainover in game number 1. So definitely two champions that they had success on in the first time. And TL, you know, is going to be gifted that counter pick once again. And Phoenix, with game 1, he was not able to get done what he needed to get done on LeBlanc.
Right.
And will he be able to come up big? Because this team needs to turn around. And he could be that spark coming from the mid lane with a counter pick. Maybe he could get a solo kill, get something going for his team. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it.
What can that be at this point?
You could pick Cassio into Rise again.
And it could be the Cassio Rise. But we will have to see. Is the Orianna going to be locked in without the Kindred really being in the game? Makes it a little bit easier for those ults to count. You get the Maokai in there, you kind of have a Bash Brothers composition and let Piglet carry from the outside. Still with options. 6 seconds left on the clock. Liquid looking at the Lissandra in the mid lane.
Yeah, and I mean, Lissandra is a fantastic pick, very strong. It's more of a, instead of kill your laner, it's more shove out your lane, then go kill someone else's
Kill
lane.
someone else.
And this is something that TL has been sticking with, the double TP. They've been playing it a lot, but we talked about it. They have not been utilizing it well, and it's something that we have to see them do. You know, once again, Pobelter is going to take the combat summoner, not the TP, and this needs to be something that TL exploits. It needs to be Phoenix rotating around, getting the TPs, you know, 4-man bot, 5-man bot with double TP, these kind of things, and they need to get big advantages. I want to see Phoenix and Lorlo use their TPs to get Piglet ahead on Callista, and I want to see TL go into the 2v2. Play to your strengths, let the world champion do what he does.
Best way to do that is, like they said on the desk, find those matchups. Keep going back to the lane. Make them run around the map and should cause them to follow you. It's going to be difficult, though. We're seeing kind of that lack of confidence with for TL now with 2 games against them, and there is caution there to be had. But too much caution can lead to that loss.
Definitely.
It's going to be difficult. Keep updating those Twitter votes. Send your predictions, as always, for this series to @LOL Esports with the hashtag IMTWin or the hashtag TLWin. That's not changing. Maybe your vote is. Keep it coming here. A lot of the TL fans are going to need you coming into this Game 3. It is match point for that 3rd place for Immortals, and they are looking very strong with some average 30-minute maps coming in for the first 2 games of the series. Mandalay Bay lighten up here for game number 3. We're about to get onto the Rift. Liquid looking to keep their 3rd place hopes alive against Team Immortals.
And they have a great draft to do it, right? They have a powerful 2v2 lane. They have a mid laner and a top laner who can rotate, who can support their team. These are the kind of role players. They have Dardoch, an aggressive early jungler. They have all the pieces in place to succeed. Now, the early game is going to be very important. Can they find that 2v2?
The match game. Can they play match game? Where will it go? It's going to require a little bit of wardage, but it looks like the line of scrimmage here is actually going to be what both teams go for. So only a little bit of knowledge is going to be given over in the beginning. Looks like it actually may just file out into standard lanes, however.
Lots of spears.
Certain that dominance, you gotta let him know.
He's backing the bush, though. They know he hasn't left the bush.
Yeah. Ooh.
They're going to get him with all that crowd control.
Oh, immediate rend, too.
And Piglet still should have time to base. He's going to be fine. So.
Hit that fountain by 120, you're good to go.
Yeah, you have time to base and actually swap if you want to. You can go into either lane. you know that they didn't get lane swap wards on you, and you didn't actually get them on the other team either. So
Yeah,
both teams are blind.
They are actually assuming that it is going to be that swap. You can see Piglet is heading up top, and Immortals did not actually make that swap. Wild Turtle never based. Adrian healed back up and headed bot lane. So TL, I have to think, is misreading this.
Yeah. Also, you can tell Matt walking straight through the jungle instead of actually trying to go into Immortals jungle, because this makes him late to Gromp, which makes it so that this is actually a very clean start here. And then Immortals actually get to harass TL, and Dardoch is going to have to smite this away. But look at that, there's both members there. They're trying to give Dardoch soul experience. Yep, that's why. Got level 2, immediate quick draw over the wall, got the exhaust out of Adrian. Normally you split experience on the Gromp when you double jungle, but giving it to the jungler, immediate level 2 there.
Lorlo's definitely going to have a tough time with that. Up and coming. They're going to go ahead and steal the smalls away from the blue.
Auto.
So the Sentinel.
Oh, he got it!
Wow.
That's a tilter.
He lives in the jungle. He always lives in his opponent's jungle, and he continues to do it here in this game. On that Bard, he has the chime speed, and he uses it to great advantage.
Oh, Adrian got it!
All right.
All right, getting it on the Bard is one thing with the time and the Q.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Okay.
That one's more on TL. You know,
Okay.
come on, guys. Dardoch, Lorlo.
Yeah, that
You can't give that up to a Janna.
okay, I put that a little bit on Lorlo there.
Yeah.
Your job should be to zone out the person as the top lane.
So that means they're pushed off of Gromp for that, and then Lorlo loses that as
Yeah.
well. It's only getting harder.
Oh,
Pretty unlucky, Riv.
yeah.
To a 250 in here, Immortals. Able to get a little something for themselves, break that confidence maybe that TL could have in the beginning of the game of getting themselves in with Matt's pressure. But nobody's gone down just yet. We saw Rainover with a very, very high kill percent participation last game, and could see him doing that once again here on Elise. Taking Scuttle for bottom side control, and they should be able to take this turret down as well.
Gonna be close. They're gonna have to wait for the next wave, actually. So TL will be able to take the first turret and gonna be able to bounce that nicely. So Lorlo is gonna have that set up for himself.
I don't know if you bounce it though. I think you push it. Oh, TP to the bot side so he can catch the wave. What is Lorlo doing? What is he doing?
That did not just happen.
What is he doing?
Howling Gale goes out. They're going to see Rainover coming in too. This is going to be 4
Lorlo?
people getting on this. Rainover doesn't pick anything up, but Lorlo
Oh my God.
TPs to the bot lane in error.
And all last game, I was sitting there thinking, Lorlo looks like he has nerves. We've seen Matt adjust a little bit to the pressure. Dardoch has seemed to adjust to it as well in the LCS, but it always kind of looked like Lorlo had never really adjusted to even the 300-person stage in the LCS, and this just looks completely out of style. Like that's not something you should ever even consider doing.
I mean, that was a tragedy, straight up. That was a massive misplay. And now you have a level 1 Maokai heading to the top lane who just wasted his TP and gave first blood to the Lucian.
Yeah.
We talked about how you have to get the 2v2 advantage. You have to be able to push that as the advantage for TL. Well, guess what? You just gave their AD carry 400 gold.
And it could be even more till the mid lane. Pobelter was trying to draw him in. Dardoch had the same idea with the counter gank in mid here. You can see how hungry Team Liquid is to get something back off of that play. They try to go right for
Rainover
Pobelter
looking
mid
for
lane.
it.
Lorlo in the top. They take the little guy for another ride, and he's actually able to flash himself out of that one. Lorlo staying safe. The TP's down, though, so he is going to have a lot of trouble
Oh, they're staying,
finding
though.
a way in.
And Rainover doesn't have flash. He's going to get caught.
A lot of resources to send up there just to help Lorlo. Hopefully they can come up with something here.
It's a red buff. He's going to have the slow here.
End of the line hits. The rappel goes up, and that's going to be a finish kill. They're going to allow that to go to Lorlo. Actually, a very smart play.
I actually think
I
that...
think it could have gone to anybody with the Ignite.
Yeah, that's going to equalize it over, and now Lorlo's actually going to have a slight advantage. But I'm definitely a little bit happier that he got the level 3, because the turret dive at the top, they did that because he was still level 2. If he was level 3 and had Twisted Advance, it would have been very different. Now, he's a little bit safer. So, Piglet actually trying to sneak a camp, though.
Yeah, and Piglet's pretty far forward here. Pobelter's coming. There's the flash.
Oh, boy.
All right.
He gets out, though.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing we didn't get a chance to talk about with that top lane fight, one of the things that I actually kind of ironically did push that NTL's advantage was Adrian stopped Phoenix's TP, right? Adrian actually used his flash there. He flashed forward and tornadoed the TP from Phoenix. So sounds like a great play, right? Yes. But the problem is Dardoch was coming in there, Matt was coming in there, and that TP getting canceled gave Huni and Rainover the confidence to stick around. It actually ended up kind of baiting them into staying around and dying.
The little things.
Yeah, make a big difference.
Actually seeing Dardoch go for the Merc Treads first. Speaking of differences, usually he's the double longsword or the red smite early. It just looks like he's trying to have this mobility, and the Merc Treads make sure he's not getting hit by cocoons like Xmithy was and making them last pretty much the entire duration and getting exploded. So Dardoch a little safer with that buy.
Good pick up against Rise as well. You know,
Oh, yeah.
He's a team with a lot of CC, so definitely something you want to be careful against, and he's going to take that into account.
So Lorlo roaming down from the top side. He's all farmed out and pushed. It's like it might just be kind of ward duty for him as he places one in the pixel brush. Having a bit of a hard game. The kill helps him get back in, as we were saying before.
Well,
and we're still seeing Phoenix actually be able to control Pole Belter, which helps. Maybe Phoenix can get his teleport play in soon.
Yeah, that kill going over to Lorlo and the fact that they were able to orchestrate that on TL side kind of absolves him from what happened, right? It allows you to kind of get back off of tilt and say, okay, you know what? I didn't completely lose the game for my team. I didn't have people tilt. We were able to play it calm, and now we have to continue to play it calm because we're back at even.
There's a good and a bad in that, right? It happens so early in the game, oh no, but it happens so early in the game that it can be fixed right away.
Yes.
And they were actually able to come up with that fix.
You can't beat yourself up, though.
No, you can't beat yourself up. They have to be ready. Smart play here by Liquid to back off, not really having too much vision in their jungle. They don't know what else is behind these members of Immortal, but not getting any pressure in the other lanes here as they use most of the resources top.
This is the part of the game where Piglet split pushes to get a CS advantage and experience advantage over Wild Turtle. And you notice that Piglet has hit 6 pretty much way ahead of Wild Turtle every game in this series because they do this with him. But the thing is, are they even going to get that turret on time? And it doesn't look like it's not even half HP yet.
And you can also see the other side of that is that Matt is then paired up with Lorlo. So Lorlo can fall behind an XP, and Matt does as well because Matt is roaming. So, you know, the XP isn't just coming out of thin air, right? It's a trade-off. They're saying that Piglet gets the extra resources, so Matt and Lorlo lose out a little bit on that. But they're saying that, you know, Piglet, he can carry through.
That is the plan. Finally on to Callista here as we make our way into game 3. See if he can put this one on his back. Still Phoenix in the mid lane can put out some pressure on this Lissandra up on CS, but hasn't made too much of a big play on it just yet. It's been a quiet mid lane, to say the least.
Well, I don't think it's going to be quiet for too much longer, mostly because Immortals took the top and bottom turret, and TL, they still have to get that bottom turret. They weren't able to actually answer it. So I assume that this is the part where Adrian starts playing around the mid lane, as well as Wild Turtle. Because Immortals, when they get those 2 outer turrets down, they don't sit on their hands. They start making more plays, especially if you didn't answer one of their turrets. Because now they know we have a gold advantage. It's about 1,000 worth of the turret. And now we get to push up. Now we get to at least place wards around this area. We get to take control of it. We get to take anything that's around here.
Phoenix does have his TP up now, and I really do feel like he has to look for something. You know, the more standard builds that you kind of see from Lissandra is going for CDR. You see people picking up early Lucidity boots. You see people picking up, you know, Morellonomicon or some sort of CDR so they can go for these roams, get the ultimates off non-stop, but he hasn't done that. He's building Warfare lane, and he's just been sitting in lane. You know, we need to see him move around and make something happen because as far as straight-up team fighting power, I think the Rise does eclipse the Lissandra. The Lissandra needs to get picks and snowball your team.
It's almost like he's set up to say, we will have a good reactive play to yours when we TP in on that fight, not when we initiate.
And looking at what just happened across the map there, it's going to be Dragon going over to Immortals, but also Reignover and Adrian walked up to the blue buff, so Dardoch had to smite it away, so no blue for Phoenix, whereas Pole Belter has his blue, and he's able to throw out spells and stack up that tier.
10 minutes in here, looking at just about 1.4K in the lead for Immortals, and Liquid finally getting control of a side of the map they may be able to use.
They're looking for it.
Oh,
whoa!
Whoa! Long ride. Matt's going to try to come in as well. They'll just waltz on out of this one. Good flash, though, by Huni. Unfortunately, no Immortal members there to pick up on that kill for Lorlo. He's forced to flash out. And Liquid having good control over the jungle. Unfortunately, that one fizzles out for him, and they're not able to get any aggression out of it.
Yeah, Dardoch is sitting on 1,300 gold right now, so Reignover definitely has the item advantage despite being down in CS. So you don't want to fight that. You don't want to be able to actually give Reignover the opportunity to get a combo on you.
And we did see Piglet try to make use of that Fate's Call, but not able to do too much. And Phoenix going to be chunked out here a bit by Pole Belter.
Yeah. This is why you need Abyssal Scepter early.
Yeah, fair.
It looked pretty painful. Pole Belter still ready to go in for another one as well with this cleanse up. As you were saying, Zyrene, everybody kind of hovering around mid now to try and open up, crack the final door open, and have free reign right into the first part of Team Liquid's jungle.
Yeah.
A lot of resources here for Team Liquid as well, so it looks like this one will stand for now.
The experience can become a fairly big deal. You know, Lolo down a level here. Matt is just hitting 5 now. He was actually 4, where the solo laners were 8 on the other team. And you're so squishy at that point. If you actually do get caught by a Rise, you're going to die instantly. So something he has to be aware of as well. But obviously an incredible Bard player. And him hitting 6 is going to be pretty big for the team too, because that does open up so much more as far as opportunities for initiation, for disengage, for turret dives. You can disable the turrets as well. So there's so much you could do with that Bard. And getting 6, although you obviously do want to prioritize getting the XP on your carries, is pretty big on Bard still.
It's not just EXP advantages too, right? Like that really matters, the Bard ultimate. But I'm looking at this 2-on-2 lane, and Wild Turtle is already up 1,000 gold over Piglet, despite Piglet being in a lane where he's getting fed all of the CS. Well, Turtle's been able to equalize that, pass it, and he has that kill, as well as some of that turret gold from that top lane. So he's actually pretty far ahead of Piglet right now.
Yeah, and a lot of that is thanks to the first blood he picked up off of Lorlo, as well as that extra turret, you know, the local gold, pretty big there too. So Turtle definitely carving out an advantage for himself. You know, he's been going pretty big in these last 2 games, and he's looking to be in a pretty good spot to carry in this game as well.
This is where Immortals siege the mid turret. You try to get it now because you know you have the level 6 advantage on support. Lorlo TPing from the side.
Fate's Call in, out. That level 5 still for Matt as Immortals stands toe-to-toe with them in front of their turret. Lorlo looks like he wants to go in, but they have to realize here they're definitely down in levels. It's going to affect the abilities. And what can be used onto Phoenix right away?
Adrian
uses all summoner spells to get himself into the fight. Huni and Wild Turtle are very low. It's going to be Lorlo trying to go deep into the fight. Nobody can really follow him. And a lot of summoners used by
Rainover
just to get into range.
He didn't want to do that.
He wanted to refund that ticket as soon as he got on the ride.
Rainover's going to gift one back, no big deal. But
ouchies.
Lorlo was going deep there, and at the same time, Phoenix is actually flashing out of the fight.
Yep.
TL, though, they do kill the jungler. They're looking to push for mid.
Wild Turtle on the other side. Huni has TP. So Huni was backing. They were looking for possibly a TP play if TL had continued to stay pushed forward.
Rise ultimate.
That fight, though, very close, and actually it could have gone a lot better for TL had they been a bit more on the same page. And you can see here over on the side, Phoenix actually does get caught, and Phoenix is going to have to self-ult himself, which takes away a lot of the damage that he is going to be able to do. And at this point, Phoenix is like, I'm out of there, and Lorlo's going in. And look how low Huni and Wild Turtle both were there. Had Phoenix not flashed out, or had he taken his claw back in, I think he could have actually finished off both of them.
Right.
Yeah. And that would have been massive for the team, but Phoenix just did not have the confidence. He actually threw his claw back in. It hits them, but he doesn't take it back in for the free Q, and which would have been a double kill. So, you know, Phoenix, I think he's doing well for himself this game. He did pick up a kill, but I definitely think that was a little bit of a misplay there, and I think he could have got a couple more for his team, and perhaps that could have got them the turret too.
You also think if he had ultied Wild Turtle instead, would have been more damage on him, or it would have been about the same damage, and also it would have locked him up. Lorlo would have been able to get in range for the W, and then everybody would have been able to go on that, and you saw Phoenix flashed away after the ultimate anyway.
Yeah.
And when you ulti the damage dealer, well, you're taking less damage, so he wouldn't have died. But oh my god. That's commitment.
That's called pulling the trigger.
Yeah, there used to be an AD carry there, but no longer.
He had flash too.
Wow.
Can't flash when you're W'd. And Brian is showing off that burst.
Piglet using the heal to get into that one. We may even see a quick Silver Sash coming out of him in this game. It's going to be a very dangerous way to fight if he does not have Matt's ultimate regularly. Lorlo goes in.
No, turret!
No, he hit it on the turret. They might have wanted that damage. Rainover is low. Nice ultimate coming in for Phoenix, but he puts himself very dangerous here. The double kill could be worth, but there's enough DPS to drop this turret with the wave.
I think it's worth.
Yeah, and Matt was actually, I mean, it was a beautiful ultimate, but had he not hit the turret, they would have been so good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was able to isolate a couple members on the side, which allowed them to get that engage and pick up a couple kills. Still a good trade for TL overall, but not if they lose this turret. Dardoch on the backside, though.
Dardoch gonna smoke screen, pole belter out. Fate's call for Matt. Gonna look for the binding after. No, Matt holds back. He's actually staying.
Turtle's going for turret.
Piglet. And a great focus from Turtle on the right side, knowing he was out of danger. Takes the turret down. Immortals have been pecking at that mid turret for the last 5 minutes to finally get it to drop. See how they open up the map from here.
Yeah, Turtle 3-0 off of that, but here's the fight once again, and Matt looking for the ultimate, and had he not hit the turret, had he just got those 3 members, it would have been amazing because the turret would have been adding in that damage, but still, Lorlo goes in. Phoenix actually gets ulted into the team, but is able to get out some really good damage, picks up a double kill for himself, and it's here that Lorlo's too low to re-engage. They have Dardoch there, Piglet's back in base, so they couldn't really continue the fight, and Immortals had the presence of mind to stay around, pick up that turret, which makes it a good trade for them in the end.
TPE down for Phoenix, just used, coming out for Lorlo, so those are going to be kind of off and on, not being able to synergize for a little bit on those. 157 to 155 as mid lane stays very even in CS, but the kills are starting to push Phoenix ahead just a little bit. Lorlo, after a really rough early game, we saw him come out of it early, and he's been able to stay consistent as that Maokai. Hopefully he's what the team needs when they get
Turtle!
Fights.
What?
Phoenix flexing his muscles there a little bit. 2 completed items, and Turtle has the audacity to walk up to the 3-in-1 mid laner who just finished his 2nd item, and Phoenix says thank you.
And Turtle's sitting there going, he has the audacity to walk up to the 3-0 Lucian. My 3 kills versus your 3 kills.
We were just talking about Turtle before this game as well, kind of saying there's definitely been a change in that mentality from the reserve Turtle who would hide in his shell to this guy that comes out and tries to break open plays for himself. It can still get him in a little bit of danger. Adrian with a nice monsoon on this one, and it looks like with Piglet coming in, they got good damage here on the backside. The split puts Dardoch in a bad spot. The fades call, and it's on Rainover. The binding locks him up on the wall. Adrian doing what he can. One last storm shield. The rappel is up, and Adrian will completely fall. No, he stays alive. It's going to be all down. How is Immortals turning this? Turtle again in the front. The shell is even up.
What a cue!
Stop that time, and it doesn't look like it's going to be finished. Does Turtle take the journey? He does. The binding against the wall. What is he doing in the pit alone? Committing suicide on this one.
Dragon!
He goes down. Lorlo takes him out, and Turtle going way too hard.
He got interrupted by the dragon knockup in his E.
Oh, it's not over just yet. Actually, the flash forced out there onto Matt, who got nervous seeing Huni body slam forward. Didn't know if he had his flash or his ult available, but what an insane fight. And it actually started off with the trick that CLG pulled to seal the deal on TL. TL actually did the double TP there. Came in with a bit of a surprise, but they were not able to finish people off.
I bet you that what ended up happening after that set is they practice how to have the top laner go first and then the mid laner immediately after. I bet you they tried that in scrims a bunch. And you can see here, Huni so low, almost gets burned down by the red smite. And then the follow-up here, Phoenix goes a little too far forward, gets exhausted. It would have killed Rainover outright. Maybe Huni in the backline as well. But right here, there's so many stacks in Pobelter, but Piglet, I don't know if he even has the mana to rend. His bar is so low right there.
Yeah.
Would have been a kill.
Immortals was so ridiculously low. Turtle with a bit of an overchase here into the pit.
He gets interrupted by the dragon here. So unlucky.
Oh.
That was the Rainover. This is how you use magical. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Wait a minute. Oh.
Crazy game.
But that is confidence you are seeing. It literally just oozing out of these guys right now, and it's kind of kicking them in the butt a little.
Yeah, and we're actually seeing a different build here from Dardoch. We're seeing the Phantom Dancer second, which gives Graves so much attack speed, which makes it so his auto attack reload has actually a very nice fluidity to it. But look at this, Piglet caught by
Oh my God, Rainover! Right over the shoulder of Team Liquid members onto Piglet. The next target is Matt. It's going to be more before Huni goes down. No, he falls quick.
They still have Dardoch.
Onto Lorlo. Where is Phoenix? He's coming around the backside with a bunch of damage with Dardoch. Now it's a 2v2. They're standing tall. They're trying to finish off the kill. And it's going to be Rainover once again with the sliver of health.
He's going to try to kill him.
Turtle gets fishing. Turtle gets the kill. What a fight from Immortals! Liquid gets aced.
These fights are ridiculously close, and IMT just keeps coming out on top by the smallest of margins. TL is just losing out fight after fight, but just barely. What a flash
so good. The knockup there from Adrian, and then the walk to the side. Rainover recognized that millisecond of an opportunity to flash Cocoon, and he took it. Everybody jumps into this pit, though, and then the follow-up damage comes through. Phoenix gets to hit multiple people with Qs, and Dardoch gets to auto-attack across multiple members. But that Cocoon, once again, Rainover, back-to-back cocoons, coming up huge and almost taking out Rainover. And then Dardoch not able to follow or get that auto attack off. And right here, maybe if he had queued to the right side in that tri-brush, he would have been able to blow it up fast enough, but didn't predict it.
Yeah, if he hit the double Q, he actually might have gotten that kill.
I think so. I think it's a lot of damage.
Yep. Dardoch. Saw that Maw coming in previously before, but he goes straight for the Phantom Dancer in this build. He's trying to be pretty aggro with it. And Liquid now kind of feeling a little bit of pressure. 3K down, 3.4 actually, as Immortals continue to tighten their hold on this game after opening up that mid turret. We saw the play top from Liquid, but it always seems like they have to push themselves a little too far to get that play.
I think in this game, though, game 3 where you're down 2-0, you have to push hard, dig deep, and you have to take those chances, and you have to hope that they come up big, because you want those 20 extra championship points, and TL, they want to make 3rd place for the 3rd time in a row.
Yeah.
I will say, TL is actually, I think this is their best game so far. Their fights that they've been picking, I think, are the correct fights. It's just tiny little outplays that Immortals are making, tiny little mistakes that TLs are making in these fights that are deciding them. They're all coming down to a couple HP here or there, and if TL just did something a little bit better, they would be the ones coming out on top in the fight.
And it's been incredibly unfortunate as well. The Kalista now going over to Piglet for Team Liquid. He hasn't been able to get any kills this game, just due to the way the fights are going. 5 assists always feels much better as 5 kills when you're an AD carry, obviously.
Which is what Turtle has.
Yep. Well, Piglet's also now down 2.3 thousand gold. So the person that TL likes to play around, they like to play around that bot lane.
Yeah.
Wild Turtle has a gigantic edge on him right now. And there was actually a lot of debate during the regular season of who's better, Piglet or Wild Turtle. Piglet was doing a lot with very little, whereas everybody was saying Wild Turtle, he always has a disengaged support with Adrian. He gets to make these ballsy plays. His team backs him up all the time. But right now, we've seen them head-to-head for multiple games, and Wild Turtle just seems to always get the edge despite resources being funneled into Piglet. And a lot of that is they do play around Wild Turtle in these fights, especially with Huni playing a top lane tank now. So the question and debate will still continue after today.
Piglet just has not been able to turn it on so far. He has not been able to come up big in these fights, pick up the kills. In fact, I gotta say, he's been the one that the fights are starting because he's getting caught out, and it's been happening a lot. And it's not what you're used to seeing. You know, Jack talked about that max range cocoon that he got hit by in Vision. This is something that Piglet would dodge 10 times out of 10 you'd expect. You know, he's such a mechanically gifted player. He's so consistent, and he's been the one getting caught, and he's the one that his team is having to try to bail out, and that's not what you're used to seeing from TL. It's always Piglet that's safe. He's in the back. He's putting out the damage.
In most of the teams we think of, you could almost say that, yeah, that Elise wouldn't flash Cocoon, but it is Immortals. They're going to do anything that they can. It's on to Turtle. This is a great chance for Team Liquid to bite back and get themselves in the game. Pobelter's locked in. He's going to have a lot of crowd control right here, but flashes over the wall immediately before Lorlo can get there. The minion wave is following shortly behind. They should be able to open up the map a little bit.
It was actually a really good ultimate from Adrian. Just the knockback time on that delayed Lorlo's W allowed Rise to get that flash up. Had he got caught there, he might have gone down, but TL want to go for Baron anyway. They think this is their chance. They caught Turtle. We'll see if they can make it happen.
They haven't swept it. Phoenix goes in. Whoa!
Seemed like they're a little disjointed there. He can't clear as much ground as the Claw. They're on to Belter. Throws his shield down. Seraph's embraced as well. Rainover's in the middle of the fight right now with Huni getting attacked by Dardoch. He gets over the wall. Also a short flash there. Getting himself into a safe situation, but even safer.
They did nothing to Pobelter there, and Pobelter's still 100% okay, and they're looking for more. He can't get the pin.
He's looking for a bit more power, and it's Piglet. Piglet goes down once again as the team not even leaves him out to dry, are moving just quicker.
I mean, TL did kind of just walk away, though. I was really surprised by that. I felt like they still could have just walked out as a team. But, you know, whether Piglet was late or his team was early, they needed to be together. And Tardoch's going to get caught now as here comes Huni.
Oh, they're forced to fight in this as well. Since they stayed, Lorlo went right on to Huni. Dardoch could get out of this one. Phoenix to the other side, but they are just going in one after the other to help each other. But it's just causing more hurt.
And Pobelter has been massive in these fights. They keep trying to focus him down. That Rise is actually rather tanky, and he has cleanse, so he starts making that CC that you're trying to throw on him. Not even close to effective, and he'll get out much faster, be able to actually vamp back up. And that's going to be Baron for Immortals here in Game 3.
And here comes Huni. He's able to TP in, dodges out the Q, immediately zeroing out Matt there on the backside. And Phoenix trying to turn things around. Probably would have had the damage for Turtle, but Adrian says no, has the exhaust, has the shield to support his team. And just like that, a series of plays that started with Turtle getting taken out and Liquid going to Baron ends with Liquid getting wiped off the map. Immortals with Baron again, and Immortals looking poised to perhaps end this series.
The Nasher play was a little strange from TL. They tried to bait it, and you can see they have 4 blue trinkets. They don't have double sweeper here. They don't have the vision coverage to actually cover that area and make sure that it is something that is blind to Immortals so that they walk in. And then Phoenix went forward with his claw. There's a lot of decisions here from TL that are either not being followed up by their teammates, it's not being communicated properly, but whatever's happening, Immortals look way more crisp today, and they look like, even though they're playing new things, it's working out. This looks well practiced from IMT.
And the confidence is just continuing as they make pushes. They don't wait any moment, any second, millisecond to get an engage on if they see it. The entire team is on it and behind. Even if it's a bad call, they all go in on it and are coming out on top. Kind of hard not to, though, when you're 5K in the lead and now pushing the inhibitor turret once again on the base of Team Liquid 20 minutes into the game. Immortals looking very strong once again here in Game 3. Liquid looking to keep themselves alive, though. The pressure continues to build, and the Fate's Call, or rather Tempered Fate, goes out, and the Fate's Call comes back.
They got the Gragas barrel, though, and that's a big part of the Immortals engage. They have to get a cocoon onto Piglet, but that's how they were actually sectioning him off. And Bowbelter with the point and click, so we'll have to see here.
Yeah, Immortals may want to just wait for mid lane to push up and rotate over there, but they're getting a lot of damage down on this turret. And Lorlo popping the ultimate. Looks like he may want to go in. Huni's really low too, though.
Yeah, turret's just gonna go down here.
Trying to do what they can. They understand they're a bit weaker in items and fight pressure here. Ultimates down for Huni at the moment, so they can't really disperse a huge fight. Gonna have to rely on Adrian for that, and he's also out of mana, but at just the right time, the team is gonna head out. They grab that bottom inhibitor and can really work the rest of the map now. Dragon's alive. They might just be back for it before they go for mid or top.
Yeah, this may go over to TL, but even if it does, I don't think Immortals really cares that much. You know, they'd like to pick up their 3rd dragon and deny TL their 1st, but they don't want to take a risky fight. They just pocketed a lot of gold. They're in the lead. They want to go back, heal up, buy, and get into position. And TL's going to give them the time to do it anyway.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to actually go towards that dragon. You can see Wild Turtle picking it up right now. So, 3rd dragon to Immortals, and honestly, the claws of being 4th place are slowly wrapping around Team Liquid right now, sinking in.
Very interesting the way it came in. Liquid super strong, coming in very confident as well.
They see Matt.
And it could be a journey over the wall. Nobody really behind them, but Dardoch, and they kind of want to get out as fast as they went in here. A lot of damage coming in. Immortals still want this fight right in front of the turret. They want Liquid to use all of their resources so they can get it and push on through the inhibitor. But will Liquid let it happen? Immortals is gonna make it happen. They're going for Piglet. Huni hits the barrel right past Liquid's members, and it takes down Piglet. That's 3 members down. Liquid is scattering to keep themselves alive, and Immortals are just going to walk up to the front door and ace Team Liquid.
And they have minions in the bot side here. This might be Immortals. They were 1st place in the regular season. They faltered in the semifinals, but they're gonna take down Team Liquid and claim 20 more championship points.
They're back, and they're back in a big way. It's gonna be a clean 3-0 for Immortals coming together. Turtle coming up huge. The whole team looking godlike in this series. That's gonna be it. 3-0 for Immortals over Team Liquid.
A good game, well played across the board between these two teams, and I think at the end of that game, I was looking back to champion selects, and I was thinking, they've got Phoenix on things he hardly played this year. A Cass, a LeBlanc that we only saw in the semis versus CLG, and a Lissandra that was played twice. It definitely was a bit of a kink in the chain.
Yeah, I think that Team Liquid, you know, with these rookies coming this far, they definitely think that they have more potential for the next split. Once they synergize, they get a little bit more over those nerves that we were definitely seeing in this game, and the communication gets down pat. I want to talk about Immortals, though, because this is a team that was expected to get 1st place.
Yep.
and they were humiliated 3-0 by TSM, the 6th place seed.
And in that interview, they said, we didn't even expect that.
They did not expect that one bit. And they come in here today, they 3-0 Team Liquid. Very, very, very commanding performance from this squad. And this wasn't about getting 3rd place and those extra 20 championship points. This was about saying the criticism of, right, is that how an MVP plays in the semifinals? Is that how a coach drafts in the semifinals? They are silencing those haters, showing that Immortals have more aspects to them and more dimensions than what we had seen in the regular season. And if they're able to adapt like this and then get on top of recognizing when the meta shifts, this is a squad that coming into summer, they're practicing for Worlds.
Well, it is going to be those best of 3s, and Immortals now shows that can go into those series, show change, show strength, and even a week's time and be able to change that.
Yeah.
And I mean, Huni has completely silenced the critics. He looked extremely strong on the tanks. All 3 games, he looked great. And I got to say, Wild Turtle coming up massive for the team throughout the series. He was just straight up playing better than Piglet. This is the guy who, you know, people are overlooking a little bit. They talk a lot more about Piglet. They talk a lot about Doublelift and stuff. But Wild Turtle, you know, he's not sitting in the back. He's getting in there for the team. He's picking up the kills. He plays it right to the very edge. And he's able to come up so big for the team.
Pole Belter as well. We see this guy be a huge boon of versatility for the team, bringing out the Azir after not really seeing it much, and then the Rise again. Just really able to play the matchups he was going against at a base level and then help the team out afterwards. Like you said, we weren't really seeing or have seen Pole Belter be a star player in the mid lane, right? He brings a lot to the table, but here he definitely started to define and show himself.
Yeah, and I mean, Phoenix was the guy who had the counter pick multiple games against Pole Belter. And Pole Belter is the one that's performing better in these games anyway. He's the one that's staying alive. He's the one that's, you know, building intelligently, team fighting intelligently. And I have to say that this really was truly a team win for Immortals.
Yeah, and I think Immortals, showing that it only took them a week to really get everything in order, kind of points to the 3-0 series against TSM, that was more of them being misled by their scrim results. I got to talk to their coach, and he's like, it really looks out of place if you didn't see what practice was like. If you saw what practice was like, they thought that Lucian top was good. They thought that Gangplank was good because they were probably crushing people with it, right? And with that many weeks of practice and you do that, then you come onto the stage and say, well, this is how we've been winning all along.
Yeah.
And now they've adapted, and it was very quick to actually just turn it and say, oh yeah, we always had this. We just didn't think it was the best strategy at the time.
Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Practice makes habit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And for the player perspective on that series, let's check in with Freak, who's got an interview ready with 2 of our winners.
Thank you very much, Riv. Yes, I am here with 2 of the victorious Immortals here. We've got Huni, we've got Wild Turtle. Huni, first things first, I have to ask you, coming into the 3rd place match, the 3-0 stomp, how did it feel kind of vindicating yourselves from the semifinal? How does it feel bouncing back from that?
Yeah, it was kind of sad, of course, for third places. It was just, I would say, first times for me because I was just winning when I was in EU. So it was kind of sad, but we still have to play for fans, and you know we have to win because we still have to prove we're not that big. And then next season we're going to beat again every team. So we just prepare properly, and then yeah, that's why I think we won pretty easy.
So Huni talked about preparing properly. Wild Turtle, I want to ask you, what was that preparation like, bouncing back from that loss to TSM? What did it look like this week?
Well, the preparation was a really long and hard process. Like, we knew we were going to lose a lot of games at the start because we're playing tank top. Huni's only played like 3 tanks in his life, and he played like all 3 of them this game or something like that. And then, yeah, it was a really hard transition, but I'm glad we were able to show we were able to play the meta, I guess.
So Huni, I want to ask you about that then. What was the mindset from last week's champion select? Lucian, Top, Gangplank, Graves. Why were those the champions you played?
To be honest, I don't know. I was maybe kind of overconfident, and I didn't prepare enough myself. That's why, like, I was kind of being behind meta. That's why we played kind of bad. And then for me, there was a lot of disadvantage. So yeah, it was. But personally, I think still, damage top is better than tank champion.
You think there's things that are better than tanks? You just have to find them?
To be honest, I want to say it like this way, but actually tank is better this meta.
All right. Well, Wild Turtle, you got to show what a winning Lucian looks like, so congrats on that one. Talk to me about the matchup you were up against Matt and Piglet here, because Piglet's gotten so much praise. You've often been an overlooked AD carry. I know you've gotten some respect now. So tell me sort of your individual play throughout this series and how you felt it went.
I think me and Adrian played really well like in this series because Huni's obviously playing a tank, and I can trust Huni to engage for me, and it's really good. I think in this meta, it's more like just teamwork and just playing with your team really well, and I was able to show that I can play with my team really well this game.
You guys definitely played very well, so we're looking forward to seeing you guys play in June in the summer split. Your goals are still Worlds. How is it going to be the 18-0 this time around? Is that the summer split for Huni? How's summer split going to be for Immortals?
This time we lost actually semifinals, so from there we improved a lot, and then we're not gonna be like cocky or something overconfident, and then we prepare enough ourselves. So summer split is gonna be like we're gonna be way better, way more improved, and so we're gonna finish without lose.
You're gonna finish without any losses, Huni. All right, Wild Turtle. Then one more question for you then. Tomorrow's matchup, TSM versus CLG, how do you feel it's going to go?
TSM versus CLG, I would give it TSM because they beat us, and I love TSM, so yeah.
All right, Wild Turtle, thank you very much, guys. Congratulations on the third place victory. We'll see you in June in the summer split, where you're not going to lose any games, according to Huni. Thank you guys very much, and for now, we're going to throw it up to the analyst desk to break down that series.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Freak smiles for Huni and Wild Turtle as they walk away from the third place match with the victory and the 3-0 sweep over Team Liquid. So, of course, that's going to feel good for them bouncing back from their loss against TSM. And I want to talk about how they got there, and I want to talk about what Freak was discussing with them was the adaptations that they had to make in just a week. I mean, Wild Turtle hitting on it there. Hey, it's nice to have a tank that can engage for me in frontline.
Hearing that is kind of mind-blowing. They're just like, oh, yeah, we decided to practice tank tops in a week, whipped them out against Liquid, and then 3-0.
Yeah.
Like, they were not perfect on tanks. Huni was not as good of a tank player as some of the other tank players top lane, but the team is good enough that when they were on that style, they could still do it better, which kind of makes you wonder what could have been if they were practicing that for a month.
And Huni also voicing, the sentiment that a lot of players have, it's much more fun to build full damage.
I still think a damage dealer can do it. I was like, yeah, Huni, tell him a damage dealer can do it.
Like,
and
just kidding.
He just backed off.
I would love to see the meta develop it, or I would love to find someone poke a hole in it. I mean, there was the attempt to poke a hole in it, and we did see the Lucian have success up to a certain point in the game, and who knows, maybe he'll continue to look for those opportunities since they're going to have some time now leading into the summer split to mess around with different team comps and the styles that they want to play. But again, breaking down this series as a whole, Immortals, as you mentioned, John, I think that the biggest key here for Immortals was them getting back to the point or the place where we realized that as a team, these guys just work together.
Yeah, and I really liked how Huni was okay with giving up the spotlight. This is a guy, he's had the spotlight for almost 2 years. Pretty much all of his League of Legends career. He's been this carry top laner. He smashes, he gets all the kills, but he's okay with playing the front line for Wild Turtle and for Pobelter. Both of those guys step up for Immortals, and their back line really does work.
That was the huge thing. Like, Pobelter probably felt very slighted in the awards voting. Everyone else on the team got first team for North America. And then it's just Jensen in the mid lane.
Right.
But Pobelter stepped up in a huge way. And that's what needs to happen if your top laner is not on a primary damage threat. It's your backline damage, which is going to be your mid laner and AD carry. And I thought Pobelter was exemplary in all three games.
And Turtle as well.
Yeah, accolades for Immortals, but I do want to touch on Team Liquid really quick as, again, this was a young team. We've talked about the 3 rookies, and Jat, you mentioned the fact that this is the first instance in which these guys are playing in an arena this size in front of this many people. And for them, although they did get 3-0'd, this was a crucial part of their journey and their learning process to moving into the summer split and maybe making a run at Worlds.
I think it's growth opportunity is what they need to do, because there were so many unforced errors, right? The level 1 teleport by Lorlo in game 3 on a turret with 3 people, like, that is not a mechanical misplay. You're not just like, oh, wrong turret.
Yeah.
Like,
Game 3 was really funny because going into it, I was like, okay, what they need to do is reduce their unforced arrows, but what they did is allow Immortals to make more unforced arrows for themselves, creating these magical journeys, and then everyone can follow going into them. So it's just everybody kind of chaos there. In the,
Game 3 definitely
Very
chaotic, but exciting nonetheless. Well, all in all, players on both sides stepped up in this third place match, but only one can be named player of the series. And today, it's Pobelter. So, Jack, you'll be happy that he's getting a little bit of recognition here. Pobelter started the series off strong, bringing out an Azir pick in game 1. His rise was instrumental in terms of getting Immortals to that win here today. And then, of course, the Cassiopeia. So 3 unique champions.
I think so much of this was his champion flexibility and also his ability to play well with that champion in game. The ban strategy for Immortals banning basically 2 junglers every single game and being able to deny Team Liquid Azir and then force them to ban Azir when they were red side. It's so much value he provided just from picks and bans, not even talking about once he was in the game.
Right, too, the way that freed up Reignover, since we talked about the jungle meta and the fact that Reignover isn't quite comfortable playing the Kindred. We've seen him play Nidalee before, and he did jump onto the Graves today at least a bit, but still allowing him to play Elise, who most would say, well, she's not in the meta. You're going to play so many other champions before that.
I don't know.
But Pobelter frees that up because of, as you mentioned, Jack, what he does in Champion Select with those unique picks.
Say Elise is almost always good.
Kobe,
She's always in there.
Ever the jungler, yes.
And maybe it's Dardoch's kryptonite, too. Smithy's Elise was crushing him around corners with those cocoons.
Well, hey, when you're flash cocooning Piglet in the same spot that he got cocooned in like 2 games prior to get a huge team fight win and kind of snowball the game off of that, then it works, right? That's at least played correctly. But Pobelter, unsung hero, well, no longer the unsung hero. He was the unsung hero, I guess, of the regular season.
I don't think he deserved first team mid laner, but this series, he was absolutely all that.
All righty, well, there you have it for the series. Now, earlier in the day, we asked you to send us your favorite game-changing moments from the 2016 LCS season. So let's check out some of your submission. First up, from 13OU31, who writes, the Wild Turtle 1v3 with Kalista, that was one of the better moments of the year. Here you go.
But rushes back, can't find the Q, but here comes Curtain Call. Pobelter has to block this, he's gonna get slowed. He finds Huni, and he gets the crit! Pobelter stopped blocking it, and he goes back in for Sneaky, but Russian balls, unstoppable, maybe even literally. As he keeps going in, Turtle, 1 versus 3! And he takes 3 of them down!
This game is delivering in every conceivable way. Turtle sticking around until the very end of the team fight and never backing down. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, he did a 1v4 later in that game when he had Sterix Gate.
What is in common with all of these games where Turtle keeps taking on multiple enemies? He's on Kalista.
Yeah,
yes.
true.
Yeah, very proficient on that champion. Next up from Charlesard, who remembers Echo Fox versus Team Liquid, the last team fight at the Inhibitor where Big literally broke the sound barrier.
The front, will it go on him? The flash combo comes in and Dardoch, he gets Froggen, and Froggen's gone. They catch back in. Nice!
Fucking what?
Nice.
What's happening?
Save the Lucian!
Save the Lucian! Save the Lucian!
Get Alistair, get Alistair! Lucian's
Lucian,
puppy, puppy. Alistair, get puppy, puppy.
Holy shit! Kill him!
Run down.
The start is the best. What's happening?
Yeah, it's memorable, but not optimal. Never do you want to say what's happening as loud as possible.
Especially as a shot caller, too. As one of the 2 dedicated shot callers on that team, you need that person to be like the voice of reason.
Or was it like this? It's more philosophical. What's happening? It doesn't matter what's happening. Protect the Lucian. Doesn't matter what the answer to that question is. Protect the Lucian.
There you have it. There you have it. All right, well, our last tweet comes from Doraga's cousin. I hope I got that right. Definitely balls pulling back the second C9 game against TSM on Gangplank. Here you go.
The heel comes out, and now TSM looks like they have to turn around a bit. Hanser gets locked down and taken down. Doublelift trying to stand up front. His crits will change this fight. There's another hit from Balls. He comes up huge. The double kill for Sneaky. They could wipe out Team Solomon right here, and they have Baron to get in the base. You have to be kidding me. There in Doublelift, he's getting too close. As soon as Fenscaron and Yellowstar went in, that was it. Cloud9 have held their breath 46 minutes waiting for the right fights, waiting to scale, waiting for the right items, and they have found it now.
I mean, that was only one of many GP plays that we saw out of Balls, because there was the other fight near the Raptors that one time where he got a huge flash auto crit in order to save the game there.
He definitely hard carried that game. That was huge from Balls. And it really illustrates that point. There's so many small things for you to keep in mind in those late game team fights. If you miss one barrel and you forget to put one auto attack, it can change the entire game.
Yeah, GP, very fun champion to watch. Unfortunately, it was banned out all through the series today, so we didn't get to see Huni play it. But, ladies and gentlemen, with third place in the books, we can officially distribute some of the remaining championship points. With their win today, Immortals earned themselves third place in the spring split and 50 championship points to spend towards an invitation to the World Championships. That means Liquid earns 30 points and previously eliminated teams Cloud9 and Energy Esports each earn 10. Now, the remaining points will be distributed tomorrow following the conclusion of the spring split championship finals. That matchup, of course, is another meeting of the biggest rivals in the NALCS, Counter Logic Gaming versus TSM. That showdown starts immediately following, or tomorrow, immediately following EU's championship match between Origin and G2 Esports. The stream starts at 8 a.m. Pacific, so be sure to tune in because you won't want to miss it. Now let's focus in on that series tomorrow. I mean, we do have, of course, CLG TSM, so repeat of the summer finals. But initial thoughts, given what we've seen from these teams in the playoffs so far?
If you base it just off of the playoff results, TSM 3-0'd the team that just 3-0'd Team Liquid, but I don't think it's that simple. I definitely feel like
it never is.
It's ridiculously hard to call. Like, we did a Death Timers on PHL with Irene where I argued for CLG, but one person has to argue for either side. Like, I still can't quite make up my mind about who I think is the edge.
I'm so excited because there are almost too many stories in this matchup. And not only is it a rematch of last year, but is the two oldest organizations. Plus, it is TSM who stole, got double lift, one of the marquee player here for CLG, and now he's looking for redemption, playing against his old team. They're trying to justify, releasing him from the team. It's just so much goes into this next matchup.
Right, and then of course we have had all of our conversations around meta, and with CLG, there were similar concerns with Darshan, like the fact that they wanted to run 1-3-1 constantly with Darshan, but he seems to have jumped onto the tank train no problem. And of course, on the flip side, you have Hanser, who's been known to pick up pretty much anything you need him to pick up throughout the season.
Exactly. Hanser's been a jack of all trades in the top lane, but I also do feel like Darshan can play Echo, and I think he's a high enough mechanic player. He can easily jump on a Gragas. I don't want to see him on Maokai because he has a history of mediocre games in that regard, but that is, once again, just one matchup. Like, CLG has all the teamwork, and TSM has had the teamwork recently, but it's only been for a couple of weeks. And the question will be, can they sustain that as the stage grows? And yeah, just in time. There are so many big storylines and even just big questions pick and ban and champion pool wise here.
Yeah, I mean, we have time to continue to talk about these, so let's dive into a few of those matchups. I mean, specifically, let's go to that bot lane where you're going to have Double Lift up against Afro Moose. So guys who won the title together just last split are now going to be facing off against each other this year. So something's got to give in that matchup.
Yeah, those guys were so good when they played together. They've also been extremely good playing apart from each other, right? Yellow Star in the bottom lane for TSM has had a really rocky beginning of the season, and just stepped up in playoffs. So it's going to be that same thing that you're talking about, continuing to look to see if they can continue that in the finals here. And meanwhile, on the other side, there's Stixxay with Afromu now. Afromu has been great. Stixxay is one of those rookies who's even talked about himself how he is nervous on these big stages still. And usually in scrims, he feels very confident in his laning phase, but it's been lackluster on the big stage.
Yeah, you talk about the double lift Afromu lane that was the best 2v2, but they are still the best parts, even when they're separated on a team. So they almost cancel each other out if they actually end up in a 2v2. I'm very interested to see how that plays out because they will know each other's tendencies so well. And Stixxay and Yellow Star have felt very questionable in the lane phase at times.
Yeah, I think that you kind of run into a similar situation that we had today when you look at CLG's roster. You've got Huhi and Stixxay. They've played on a couple stages. This won't be their first one like some of the Liquid players today, but compare that to TSM on the other side, and again, you've got guys who've played on pretty much every stage out there when it comes to League of Legends. Yellow Star, although having a rocky season, probably isn't going to feel any jitters walking up onto that stage after having played in the semifinals at Worlds. So they've got that going for him.
Or the fact that this will be his 7th LCS final, the only player to play in all 7 finals. So jitters shouldn't be a problem for him, but still getting his mechanics down in synergy with the rest of TSM's team has been what has been a struggle for him the entire split. And even though they were so far ahead in some of those Immortals games, there were moments where Yellow Star was way ahead of the rest of the team, and they were still a little bit slow to follow up. So they're going to have to make sure all those things are clean because CLG will be I think the best opponent they play at in the playoffs.
Yeah, it just reinforces that story where CLG, part of their decision in releasing Double Lift in the offseason was to focus so heavily on teamwork and synergy and and communication, whereas TSM brought in a bunch of stray stars yes, they're stars, but from all different teams, and trying to put them together has taken time. Now we get to see those two clashing strategies meet up. And it's just added on to that they actually took one of the players from CLG.
We've talked about a few of the matchups. I want to hit on one more, and for me, what is going to be the most exciting matchup, the one I'm looking forward to the most, is going to be the jungle matchup, which I think maybe a lot of people might overlook, right?
Yep.
And when we talk about the top of the table, the top of the class for the jungle throughout the regular season, we were looking at Reignover and Dardoch, and then it was Xmithie and Rush, and then Svenskeren way down at the bottom during the regular season. Now through the playoffs, Xmithie stepping up, Svenskeren, huge for TSM, very much improved. So the way that these two guys match up going through the finals, I think is going to be pretty telling of how this best of 5 is going to turn out.
Yeah, Svenskeren was a monster. I mean, he won MVP for their semifinal series, shutting down Reignover. Nidalee has been red side banned by both of these teams in every game they played in the playoffs. So I think that will continue forward. I think Svenskeren has been amazing recently. He hasn't maintained that excellence so far. We'll see if he can do it against Xmithie. And Xmithie has actually been the most versatile jungle in all of NA because he's played actually every style of the split to a pretty high level.
Yeah, both of these guys are very willing to play the top tier of junglers right now. So it's going to come down to picks and bans.
All right, well, we've talked plenty. That's going to give lots of things for you at home to ruminate over this evening. And then, of course, we'll have more to talk about tomorrow. Thank you for watching today, though. Now for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching. And we'll see you tomorrow for the finals.
Into the third place match right now. It is Immortals versus Team Liquid here at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. And ladies and gentlemen, we are on the Rift. Lorlo very tanky in this one with the chrono break, but he cannot stay long enough. That's going to be Matt possible. Ultimate from Hootie from Reignover.
Focus.
Looking for the triple and possibly a double coming in from Bouncer. That's going to be 2 down. Dardoch and Phoenix fall. Reignover's the only one now for Immortals as Hootie picks up another kill. Immortals making a very good case for themselves. Dardoch, he goes back in as soon as Reignover reloads. That's going to be Turtle on the outside. He rents out too. Turtle going for a triple. That's going to be the Quadra, and it's going to be Lorlo going down. Woo! And Immortals will take down Liquid to make it 2-0.
And you can see this is the team that went 17-1 in the regular season.
Hootie and Wild Turtle are very low. It's going to be Lorlo trying to go deep into the fight. Nobody can really follow him. Does Turtle take the journey? He does. The binding against the wall. What is he doing in the pit alone? Suicide on this one. Dragon goes down. Immortals is going to make it happen. They're going for Piglet. Hootie hits the barrel right past Liquid's members, and it takes down Piglet.
Go bottom. We can finish. Nice, guys. We got this.
It's going to be a clean 3-0 for Immortals coming together. Turtle coming up huge. 3-0 for Immortals over Team Liquid.